Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to ETF2L's coverage of, well, the 37th season. Yeah, they go by very quickly. I tend to lose track. It's week 6. We're watching the game of SVIFT versus KRITZBERG. I'm Surny, joined by ArchRhythm on the production and DuMmTm on the microphone. How's it going, dude?
As good as can be after a troublesome way to get to this game here, but we are almost ready to go now. Just a matter of the players getting ready. Should be interesting for sure. After all, we've come hot off the heels of SVIFT having not just changed a lot of the roster here, but also having some trouble making it work just yet. Yesterday, against the Bus Crew, just about eking out a green number 4-2 win in points over the Bus Crew with a golden cap loss on map 1 and a straight win on the second one. Just barely, though, with how it went down. Really close game for them there with the slightly changed roster. KRITZBERG, on the other hand, same roster as always, slightly underperforming in the cup of their own expectations, I would assume. Still in hot pursuit, obviously, towards the higher end of the table, but it's going to be a tough fight to the top here with SVIFT maybe slightly getting into position now where they can make the new roster work.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a matchup where you would expect that SVIFT are just going to absolutely roll the enemy team, and they're just going to want to pick up some easy 6 points and, try to get themselves a better playoff spot and whatnot, make themselves, a little bit more known. While KRITZBERG, they really want to pick up anything they can here. If they even just pick up a single point, it's going to put them in a great position to maybe upset the playoff running for that 4th spot a little bit, because we know the top 3 teams are set in stone by now, right? I don't think that's changing much at all.
Yeah, with the win SVIFT has over Bascu now, it should be very likely that Bascu itself is actually in prime position to make it happen themselves here as well. In fact, they still have to play KRITZBERG. That could maybe just about be the decider in the end as well. It's unlikely to assume that the Bascu, as well as they played yesterday, will not take that one, but the Bascu only needs to not even lose 6 points. They need to lose all 6, actually, now that I do the math here. To make the upset happen. So we'll see week 7 when that happens. For now, KRITZBERG can close the distance. Maybe points of SVIFT won't be easy, but Bascu has done it. What is stopping them from doing it as well, maybe?
Yeah, they have shown that obviously they are a very coherent team, and if they have a good day, they can definitely surprise us. I mean, they've had some surprising matchups this season so far. They've tied most of the low-table teams. They've, completely bankrolled Global Clan, which, to be fair, is not necessarily something that people wouldn't have expected, but still, they're performing decently well, especially for a team that's, for the most part, either, hasn't played in years or is rather new to Prem. So, yeah, overperforming, I would argue.
A little bit, sure. Even like week 1, they almost were able to sneak away a point from Fane, who at this point are a well-established second seed at the moment for the remainder of the season. So that was already almost the upset to start the season off with. Even any single point of a Fane would have been huge for them. Not quite making it happen hurts a little bit maybe in the long run. We'll see if it's enough. A straight win for SVIFT will certainly weaken their chances for anything towards playoffs quite a bit here in SVIFT. As much as they struggled yesterday, still able to come out on top despite their woes so far. It's still a good sign of things to come here. I think Bum3 put it very nicely yesterday as well. This should be the weakest we've seen the SVIFT roster for the rest of the season here. There's literally only forward from here for them, with just cohesion working out better and better. A lot of the exchanges, for example, were troublesome yesterday. KRITZBERG, in theory, should be a slightly easier opponent, so maybe they can get away with a little bit more here while they're making things work over the long course of the season here and working on things as they go along here. Who knows? That might just bring them close enough to a quick 6-0 here.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Obviously, if we want to talk about the maps a little bit as well, to fill in time before these gamers finally decide to ready up, we're going to be playing Granary and Metalworks tonight. Granary, obviously, a very soldier-centric map, and that we haven't seen much of yet, except for last week or yesterday's game, whatnot, for the new non-scout meta. So it's going to be looking a lot more interesting, especially with soldiers as prominent as Josh and Nubby. You might have some strong plays coming out of both of them.
Yeah, they certainly have to as well. Granary is a map that tends to be a lot slower than you see a lot of the times. However, when things open up, it opens up quite a bit. You have a lot of options for momentum play if opportunity arises. So obviously more incentive for teams to play slow to not make that happen as well. With how SVIFT was willing to play yesterday, I wouldn't be surprised. He spent a lot of time in the game against Bascu yesterday, waiting patiently on the back foot for an opportunity to come up. Maybe they want to wait and see if KRITZBERG takes some baits here. Maybe KRITZBERG will prove to be the more impatient team here against the likes of SVIFT, which could make a huge impact already. KRITZBERG needs to be careful here to not fall into this trap while SVIFT is slowly working things out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's going to be something that they're going to have to do. They're just going to have to find their footing here, I feel, because they're going to be the ones that want to make stuff happen in this match because they know that they're the underdog headed into this. So they're going to have to try to find any weakness they can within Swift's composition and see how they can abuse it in any way. Go for something cheeky, God knows what, right?
Yeah,
Because I
mentality
think
wise.
they're probably going to be aware that they're the weaker team overall, right?
Yeah, I
You'd
mean, you
think
have
that.
to. Mentality-wise, even this will be interesting as well, because against Ascend, KRITZBERG just didn't even try at all. They just figured, yeah, okay, well, we played 2 rounds, this is over. Which, to be fair, not a bad estimation probably, but they're still giving up very early there and not giving it a very honest
Yeah.
shot for the longest time here. And if they want to make any chance towards the playoffs race here, this is where they need to pick up points. This is where they can't give up at all if they want to make something happen here. So you'd hope for their own sake they make it happen. Certainly, by the end of the map, it was still at least one of them trying. That was Bivan, the I think mathematically least Polish person on the server here on KRITZBERG's
really?
end, at least. He is, I mean, he's part Polish, I believe, is how it goes for him, but he's also from Sweden. So, you know, all the full Poles gave up already. One person still trying in that game for the longest time, at least. You have to hope that they can get that mentality back on track here, or else this will be no chance at all for anything.
That being said, I do hope we can see ourselves a little bit of a fun match. Also, Metalworks, I think it's only been in the EU pool for like a couple of seasons right now, right? It's like
yeah, it's been like on and off, I think, but for the most part, it's been here for a little over a year at this point, I think.
so like 3 or 4 seasons. I mean, so you could argue people have maybe gotten used to it by now. But it's still a novelty. It is more of one of the newer maps compared to especially something like Granary, which has been in the game since launch.
Yeah,
Something that people are maybe not as used to yet. Maybe we'll still see some novel stuff, some novel strategies and whatnot on that.
Wouldn't think this hurts any other team more than the other here, though. We have very veteran players across the board here on both rosters for the most part, between the Poles and also on Swift as well. And also people that played recently, obviously Swift players much more so towards the top end of the tables at the time where KRITZBERG was slowly working their way up here for the most part to get back into the swing of things, to get them here. So I don't think it really makes that huge of a difference. If anything, I think Metalworks should be better for Swift and KRITZBERG, but you never know how the practice actually works out for them.
I do think that this is definitely going to be like a match that's up for the glory of Poland, right? This is like for Polish national glory because KRITZBERG is essentially almost like the national team, right? There's one oddball out. The dude's just like pretending to be Polish. He's just tagging along with his friends, but besides that, that's basically what it has become, right? Yeah, I mean, fair enough, right? It works.
But yeah, I mean, obviously.
Does Beaver actually know Polish?
I mean, yeah, he is. I believe someone mentioned he is like part Polish, or at least one or both of his parents were Polish, but they're living in Sweden. So something along those lines, anyway.
Interesting.
So obviously he speaks Polish. There's a couple of those instances where you just see someone, hey, why are you on this national team? But then you just learn the backstory, and it's actually kind of interesting. There's another Polish player who's also Irish, I think. Stuff like this just happens every once in a while. I mean, world is small, right? People live all over the place.
Exactly.
Apparently, Ivan understands Polish, but he doesn't really speak it all too much. Okay. Well, close enough, I guess.
I mean, if you're like flank scout or whatever, you don't really have to call that much anyway. So
yeah, I mean,
just have to listen.
Knowing what I know about most of these players on KRITZBERG as well, they played on just like other non-Polish teams in the past plenty of times as well. So as long as he makes his calls very clear that they don't drown out in the middle of other stuff, while I'm assuming that they probably call Polish otherwise, it probably will be fine. Also, not the first time where someone doesn't quite speak a language but still plays on a national team anyway. Usually it goes much better than you would expect, all things considered, which is always funny.
There's a lot of examples over time where there were a lot of like, mostly French teams and stuff, because there's so many French players for some reason. I'm glad we were seeing other national teams just like play in Prem. There's always a guaranteed French team, pretty much almost every season, or at least like a team that's predominantly French.
Now.
Yeah.
All of them.
Sometimes there's a German team. There's never a British team, which is I feel like Brits can never really hang out with each other much. Like
you never see more than some, never like all of them.
Yeah, you never see more than 3 or 4 of them on one team, so that's an interesting one. They just hate each other enough, even though there's so many of them. Other than that, yeah, I mean, sometimes you see Russian teams as well.
Yeah.
That's about it, though. I can't think of much else.
Yeah, I mean,
in terms of national teams, recently at least.
The thing of national teams is it makes a lot of sense in the law diffs for people, right? Because it's like easier. You probably know these people beforehand, from somewhere. You speak the same language. If your English isn't good for your group of people that you're playing with, then that's just making life easier as well. But as time goes along, maybe some people quit. You just make ends meet here some way, or another to just make the roster work, and in the end you get stuck with what is a vastly different roster, maybe with different nationalities. Hell, this is how we got to the point where Lego became not Danish at all, other than Dr. Phil at the time as well, for example.
Yeah.
And a whole different team, and then, here we are, and Josh still around, still at top, back again, I guess, after a little bit of a break at the beginning of the season, brought back by Kuno to make them get to glory maybe again. It's a long way from that still, but I mean, they can get back on track here. A clean win will certainly help them out quite a bit.
At least he won't be able to absolutely decimate Nazboy this time, considering he's playing on his team, so...
Yeah.
That shot, that was from the Lockdown Throwdown too, right? That shot will probably remain in my mind for a few years to come, because, my lord.
Well,
it's just one of those things.
For what it's worth, it's only kind of Nazboy here as well. We've mentioned yesterday as well, but I don't have confirmation. Maybe I should just ask Seeds, because he probably knows. But this is still Nazboy on his alt account, for anyone wondering. Expectation being that he's probably for some reason logged out of it, maybe phone acting up or something like this. Can't Steam got logged back in. Whatever it is, has to play an alt account right now. But let me tell you, you just look at him play for a second, and you can guarantee tell this is Nazboy that we know and love. Maybe, I guess, from looking at the same, but certainly love to see play regardless of that. And with that, we're good to go here. KRITZBERG on blue, Swift on red for this week 6 official here.
Let's see how they handle a granary as we're headed into our first mid-up fight here. Nazboy a little bit faster to the mid. Stan opting to go for the high ground as well, and he's immediately just destroyed by Navi bombing into him. So no demo for KRITZBERG here. They're gonna have to play around that. Josh also going high, only meeting a scout though. Beavern is gonna die for his trouble, but that's pretty much all they did here. KRITZBERG cutting their losses, getting out early, making sure that while they've lost the mid, they're probably at least gonna try to not lose as many players, and they even have to give up the yard. But at least they hang on for the time being, as Swift just keeps rolling forward. They're already on second. Lots of damage to Nubby there, but he's not gonna die. Josh gets taken down in the sidelines, but overall, not much happening except a little bit of spam exchange over the point, and Swift has finally been halted a little bit.
Yeah, this was a novel attempt for Swift to try to chase through, but enough people up for KRITZBERG at the end of the mid-fight here for this to not escalate all too much into second, not really allowing anyone over the point. So things will stay stable for the moment. And I mentioned expectations probably for me going more of a way of a slow start to the game. KRITZBERG, different expectations. See, they want to get things going. Vonshu over a point, trying to make something happen here. Lucky to get juggled closer towards the shutter door there. Will be able to escape Nazboy's damage towards the shutter door here. So I wouldn't be surprised if Swift takes this very slow at the early stages and just grinds out KRITZBERG for the time being. That's how they've been playing so far. That's how they try to play against Busker, and it certainly kind of worked. Here comes the bomb through though, make them think about it twice, but Grabber standing on the props there will just about hide from the damage.
Yeah, he'll just completely avoid that bomb entirely. Navi gonna go down for his trouble. Bonker's gonna try to counter here. Obviously does not accomplish much either, but it's a solid attempt, and we're finding ourselves with the classic Granary second stalemate. And that is notorious on this map. It's really like the second is where most teams get stuck on here, because the yard is essentially like an extra point. It's an extra area to push into.
A lot of area.
Yeah,
by Josh. Cinematic Grabber eats a rocket, will live for now, will have to use through anyway. They just put more and more bodies into this point here. A lot of them coming Navi's way. Seeds doesn't want to use to anything here at all. The rockets come his way, will use eventually. Vonshu goes down for that, however, they're 2 down each, but with no Uber on KRITZBERG, they cannot really stay here at all. Damage coming their way. Actually, nicely staying enough. Stan just gets tanked completely by Grabber, and Bonkers in the backlands with perfect timing through Z completely eats them alive, and there's no way out for anyone on Swift.
That was absolutely devastating. The late force they're out of Seeds, they really had to, because they were already out so far, and then they really wanted to make use of that Uber, but everybody was just already way. They couldn't accomplish anything with it. Then just a cleanup, beautifully done. It's gonna allow KRITZBERG to immediately take mid here. That is one hell of a repush. And if they roll it forward with this big ad, they could even take second here. Obviously, Swift are gonna try to contest at least a little bit, make sure they can slow them down as best as they can until Seeds gets up on his own Uber. But if KRITZBERG played this right, even with Gazi in behind, they could just completely roll this forward and take second very easily as well. They're gonna Uber into the yard with everybody on Swift very careful, already very far back, but they're gonna be taking a little bit of damage here. Meet the Uber, Nazboy's gonna go down. It's gonna be about it though, as the Uber fades, not much more happens. Navi gets taken down, trading with Bonkers. Josh is gonna pick up Stan as well, so it's just Wanju now. He's gonna get met up with Paparazzi. He's gonna try to settle for Seeds, unfortunately not quite. He lives, and that's gonna be Grabba escaping barely with his life, as Beavern is gonna try the same. He does settle for Josh. maybe... No, okay, he's not going to win the 1v1 against the overhealed Kunu.
That was a close call though for Seeds. That scout was 1 second away from maybe just getting the kill on the red medic. Works for Swift just barely. They will gladly take a break here. KRITZBERG making this certainly already a tough time early on in this game. If they can keep this going the entire way through, this might be a lot more interesting a game than I expected going into this for sure. Maybe KRITZBERG can bring us some surprises. For now, it is Swift's time to play, however. They have to give up and running and already make their way into mid. For what it's worth, actually, Medic's really late. They're just walking with everyone first, but they still find the bomb through anyway.
Yeah, both soldiers going for Seeds. They're managing to force out his Uber, so Grabba coming up on his own now. He does have 3 players lost, so he's going to have a hard time hanging on to it if Swift players commit enough here. But if he's going to back out with his team, so they're going to try to just hold second here. Or maybe re-push out into the yard again. As Swift obviously set themselves up for it, try to make sure that nobody walks through that shutter door. So KRITZBERG are going to opt to go for the other side, and going to send people through the garage side here. But as long as they don't have to use, they're gonna just be able to circle around here. Wanju's already going around. Gonna try to meet this combo from behind. KRITZBERG finally popping off their Uber as well. This is gonna be very interesting as much as they can accomplish with it, because the cap is already almost completed. They barely managed to block it. Seeds is almost dead, but he's still hanging on. Finally, he gets flanked down.
Takes him down. Everyone's so weak. This was a cute idea for Swift to try to go for the back cap, but it just took much too long, and no one meeting them early to force them early as well made it so that KRITZBERG can push the Uber deep into their own second point late here. Kunu tries to save things as well. B1 takes him down. Quick reaction by KRITZBERG. This could have escalated a lot, much worse for them, I should say, if they didn't realize this in time going on the way it is. Swift's little idea for the back cap not working in the end. Nice save for the Poles here right now, able to keep themselves in this in fact, make a full reversal of this right now with big advantage coming not just into mid, but probably into yard as well, maybe into second even, if they're quick enough. Of the Swift needs to find something here to stop this momentum, because as we spoke earlier, if things start rolling on Granary, it can start going out of control fairly quickly here.
Yep, we're gonna see Grabba come up on his Uber again. He does take a little bit of spam though, so he's gonna be careful about walking through without having to pop, so it's gonna be a little delayed here as his team makes its way into yard, and they're gonna be able to take a little bit of ground here as well. Most of Swift now backed out into the lobby. Gazi and Navi both already dead, so this could be a good push here for KRITZBERG coming through the lunchbox side, seeing how much they can do. They're gonna pop and trade the Ubers here. Seeds has a much better one, but he's got no players to heal, and he's gonna have to just run away. Gonna leave Nazboy in to try and handle it. Obviously, he's not gonna accomplish much, and he's only left with Kunu, so KRITZBERG again capping out that point, and they're gonna have a play here onto last, potentially, in the making.
At the very least, you can maybe try and hope to get to CT, who is far back for what it's worth. That was a novel attempt as well by KRITZBERG trying to wrap a player behind onto the Swifts and towards Chutter. They did only lose one for that in the end, so Swift still reacted in time to not have this escalate, but any faster play there by KRITZBERG would have probably gotten the combo completely stuck towards the Chutter door. Either way, it's not like it didn't work at all here. This whole push scenario with the advantage they had, all things considered, still got them all the way to the second point here and in control of this point as well. Now Swift is stuck in the corner. They spent plenty of time against Bus Crew already last time they played yesterday on this map. So they're used to this position. They're used to playing this one patient and being careful about not making too many mistakes here just now. And for that matter, also if the off classes are here, Kunu spy checking as well. Probably finding Wonshu on a spy as well here, waiting for his time. And yeah, they're checking for already. Gets caught by the heavy and quickly cleaned up.
So that's going to be a spy attempt just completely decimated. Kunu now opting to go for the sniper class. So going to try to maybe get a little cheeky angle in here. No KRITZBERG players to really see right now. He does get an angle onto Grabba, who turns the corner a little bit too soon, unfortunately. But he's still in the play here. Maybe just catch off an overextended player. Doesn't look like there's going to be much happening, though. And they're just going to retake second and take that. They take those. They're not going to complain about it.
I mean, the threat of both the sideline and everyone, you're just slowly peeking forward and even just getting a demo kill, which helps tremendously for them. Just get them slowly but slowly further and further in. KRITZBERG decides to cut the losses early. Not going to risk anything there. They have yard to play with, and that's good enough if people overextend. Josh barely does, and they're in with this already immediately. They want to take an exchange straight away with the one pick they have. Question is if they can get post-over position forward, and again, like they had last time. So far, everyone's a lot more reserved of it. Grabba gets stuck quite badly as well here. A lot of damage coming his way, but stands the one dying somehow, as everyone tries to come through for the recommit. But Bonkers gets caught early as well, stuck out in the backlines. B1 trying to just live right now. They don't want to lose much more here. Same ideas last time, not working as well as last time. B1 even maybe caught by Navi as well. Quick 2 rockets will do. That's the third kill to boot as well. They will have to leave yard for sure. Wonshu hiding in the corner will not find a medic though.
Yeah, he's gonna get taken care of as well. So KRITZBERG are gonna have to give that up. They're gonna might even have to give up mid here. With still 2 players down, they're not gonna be able to really contest SVIFT at all. They're gonna have to set up in the yard and make the best of what they can. Seeds also, despite using his Uber later, coming up on it first, so he's building a lot more efficiently, as we know him for, so it's not a surprise there whatsoever. And they're gonna be finding themselves at the stalemate situation here yet again. But tables have turned, and now KRITZBERG are on the back foot. We see Josh going in immediately, trying to get onto Graba here. 2 nice rockets. He doesn't hit the third one, though. Graba dangerously low. Any bit of follow-up here could actually threaten his life very easily, with Josh going down. And
they
gonna
find
get
the
the pack.
force though
Nobody follows
onto
it.
SVIFT, and that makes them all the more confident. They have the Uber, they can push forward freely, even with Graba being weak. Has the pack now anyway to be healthy, and that is pushing freely back in here. Snipe those seeds, get the kill with Paparazzi, long distance there. Didn't have enough health through choke. It's only 1 kill right now with 2 down.
Gazzy in the back cap.
Probably not good enough. Ooh, maybe they could save this though with that, yeah.
Yeah, Gazzy just does a little bit of time on the back cap. This expects a spawner, does not expect Stan to go through the top though. So that's unfortunate. He's gonna get spotted out. Beavern is now on the chase as well. Seeds does go down to Wanju in the meantime. But that's a nice little pick there. Gazzy does actually win the fight against Beavern as well, so he's still gonna wreak havoc on the backlines, as he so does, with the entire enemy team now in front of him. And distracted by, you know, the little bit of pressure that's coming through yard there as well. They might be a little bit scared of that player on the back. Obviously, they're gonna have 2 spawners to deal with him soon enough, but for the time being, it's putting him in a little bit more defensive position. He's just gonna go in, actually, try to deal as much as he can here. Doesn't quite hit the shots.
Close there, yeah, that was a dangerous few seconds there. Not even just because of Gazzy, Josh was in as well. They wanted to make this as difficult as they could on both ends of the fight here, but now, with things as they are, Grabber not having to use it at all, and Seeds having no Uber at all as well, it's just time for KRITZBERG to maybe just make their way back over the map here. No round has been scored yet, 10 minutes later, but this has been going back and forth quite a bit. This didn't end in 2 minutes, 7 minutes just yet this game. Both teams really want the lead here early. If the game pace stays the same here, obviously, once someone has a lead, it's great news for them.
Yeah, they're gonna use that into yard, try to make as much of it as they can. Unfortunately, they don't really find any players at all. They're only gonna find a bit of ground off the back of it, so actually not a great Uber. They're gonna lose much rather Wanju as well. Gonna go down in the lobby there. So it's already looking a lot worse for KRITZBERG, as they now have to run away from Ubered SVIFT players, immediately lose Stan to it as well. Beavern is going to go dangerously low, and Bonkers gets taken down as well. So they're just going to run for their lives. That turned around very quickly, as SVIFT are still on the chase for Garage. Paparazzi might get caught out here as well. He does get arrowed, but they're still just going to have to run away so much. SVIFT is so aggressive right now, pushing back anything they can. Immediately back in the yard.
To wait. Spawns one here, yet they only are now, and Vonchu actually gets caught quickly as well, so that won't help the situation much for KRITZBERG. So all things considered, SVIFT just relentlessly pushing here. Like we said, momentum can be dangerous, and they want to keep it going. Josh from up top forces Uber incredibly early, takes down 2 for the price of 1 as well. Beaver and Stan going down, it's huge for them. This blue Uber forced out early, couldn't do much anyway, but now it's just a complete disaster for KRITZBERG. 1 mistake too many might just end the round here.
And that's going to be entirely off the back of Josh here, just killing 2 players, completely annihilating anything that the repush could have done. Uber comes into loss, and that's basically a free cap. They're just waiting. They're just waiting for the Uber to run out. Seeds flashing as much as he can to make sure that it takes as long as possible. That's going to be a first round going the way of SVIFT. After 13 minutes, though, a surprisingly long round.
Yeah, KRITZBERG is certainly making him work for it if this was still to be a SVIFT win, but this isn't set in stone by any means yet. 1 round is barely a lead, even on Granary, where the rounds can't easily last this long. If KRITZBERG just does one little thing here better, and SVIFT does the one little thing here was somewhere across the round, that could immediately end in disaster for SVIFT once again.
Let's see how the second mid is going to go. Bonker's going to go deep early, trying to get onto Nazboy. He does actually get the kills, so that's going to be no demo for SVIFT this time around. The tides have turned. It's looking like a very different story, but the players are not necessarily falling in SVIFT's favor. Stan went down to 1 HP there and just barely managed to live. It's only Kunu and Seeds alive, so that's going to be a 1 mid for KRITZBERG. They have turned it around from the last round.
That was a really close call. I don't think we caught it on camera, but I think Josh had about 3 rockets worth of time to try to get the kill on Grabber. Grabber managed to surf out of Garage back into second to live that as well, which is really huge right now, having this medic still alive. As much as they barely won this mid fight here, it wouldn't mean anything if they didn't have a medic alive with it as well. So, I mean, it's a small start for a comeback, but it's a start nonetheless for the side of KRITZBERG. The Poles will cling on to this midpoint for now, and maybe cling on to hope as well to get something going here. But like I said, mid-second stalemate can be awkward quite a lot of times.
Especially, it's not as great of a mid win when, you know, Seeds just escapes and still has his full Uber as well. It's essentially a toss-up. It's not like you really... Like, they almost wiped Swift, but effectively nothing really happened at all. One player got out.
Ground spinner with the bomb, but Bonshu with the second one gets in as well. Takes him out before anyone else can, but the force will do.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't quite accomplish much beyond that, and obviously, with 2 players down, KRITZBERG are gonna have to wait a little bit before they try to counter push here. Swift are gonna be feeling a little bit of heat. Josh is actually gonna try and go in here together with his friends. Gazi is in as well. He's gonna kill Beavern, and I did see Navi jumping the combo. That's gonna be a force coming out of Grava. So they're gonna be able to respond to this decently well with 2 players, both scouts, matter of fact, dead on KRITZBERG. They're not gonna be having an easy time actually hanging on here. Stan is gonna get cleaned up for being stuck inside, and that Uber ad that they had there ultimately didn't really amount to much.
Yeah, just really quick force, and Swift was just out of there immediately as well. Really well done here for the red team, and get mid out of it too, on top of all of that, with tiny advantage. Very much usable though. Beaver on Sniper trying to just make things a little bit harder here, but no one's coming his way at this level of play. You'd think going the non-forward spawn side of the second point here is normal, and certainly is. No one goes this way. Navi high bombs him in the door, expects him to be there, pre-fires 2 rockets, instant kill on the Sniper here, and that's just 1 down on last, where they really can't afford to be down anyone.
As the Uber already comes in from seat second, isn't even halfway capped it, and they're already in. They already killed Stan and Wanju and Grava.
Oh no.
It is slowly but surely falling apart. The pins are falling into place. That's Paparazzi down as well. It's only Beavern alive. He just spawned, but he's not going to be able to take down 6 players. That's just bonkers. That's a second round for Swift right there.
Yeah, that was a close call, but they knew exactly, if we push in here now, we have to get Grava, so they just went in for that one as much as they could. 95% is not 100, and that makes a huge difference in the end for the side of KRITZBERG. 2 down now. 1-0 might not be really elite, but 2-0 is getting dicey now. There's plenty of time to be played still, but if Swift wants to just slow down the game once again, it's looking dire for KRITZBERG here.
Let's see how this third mid shakes out from Stan, getting bumped by Navi immediately, but Navi won't be able to follow up. Getting a little bit more tanked this time around Stan. They're going to protect him a little bit better. Josh is going to try to go high for a bomb here. Not going to meet much himself, though. And Gazi and Josh are actually going to be the first people to go down, as everybody on KRITZBERG, while low, still stays alive. They're going to be able to edge out this mid-fight, and with everybody just banged up in choke here, Naspa's actually going to get shut out, even if Bonkers did go down. He's going to, never mind, he's just going to run at Stan and absolutely destroy him. I'm talking out of my ass, apparently.
That was also the attempt by Navi to B-hog Market Garden, the medic, but didn't even reach him in time. Should have maybe just reloaded some rockets. Either way, it's a mid win for KRITZBERG. These have been like fairly good for them so far, for what it's worth, but they need to do more of this. Vonshu trading for Josh here is not the worst trade of all time, but they will also have to use on both ends here, and that might make a difference in the end, because Swift is just escorting him out, Grabber with nowhere to go, hits the kill before the Uber even ends, because there's no one to save him here.
That was unfortunate. I saw him just at the shutter. He loses the beam on Wanju for a split second and just drops him immediately, and then has to use the Uber as well because he did force seeds. So that's just very unfortunate for them. They're going to lose mid off the back of that and have to bang themselves up a little bit more in the yard area here. It's gonna be find themselves. I think it's like that first round was like the catalyst. It's like they were trying really hard there, and ever since they lost that, they kind of like lost a lot of momentum on the side of KRITZBERG.
I think that's not even KRITZBERG's fault. I think that's just exactly how Swift wants to play this game. I mentioned previously, they just played their games really, really slow early on, and they just slowly always pick up the pace towards the later stage, just slowly figuring out the opponent, slowly figuring out how much they can get away with, and knowing exactly how they want to approach things later down the road here. As long as the slow start doesn't cost them round, it's worth it every single time for them, it seems. And now it's their time to play once again, and no one's getting out in time.
Nazboy does get taken down, though. He does get dropped within that Uber, so he's not going to be in it for this fight, but without heals on the side of KRITZBERG, it's basically just a matter of time until these KRITZBERG players do go down. One just going to try to go for seats here, doesn't manage, though. Stan is the only player left alive, and obviously just chooses to walk backwards. So that's going to be a valid attempt of a hold by KRITZBERG there, but ultimately it's just looking way too strong for Swift. Nice shot by Josh there. Yeah, I think he's warmed up. He's officially warmed up.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Swift, they're always a slow-starting team, but it's always working out for them later down the road. Well, maybe not quite against Bosco yesterday, but in the long run they still won the game, so kind of. A little bit at least, but that's just how most of the games have been so far. That's how they want to play. Maybe it is just the kind of way Josh brings to the table here for them. Who knows? Maybe that's just something they generally want to approach with most players this way as well. Whatever it is that makes them play this way, certainly things are working quite nicely here now. Slated on the road, 11 minutes left, and KRITZBERG with a big comeback at hand to make this happen. However, an early kill with Navi is a decent start.
Yeah, they're definitely going to take it. They've been very good at shutting him down early after that first mid-fight. They're really not letting Navi get away with much. That being said, Gazi, on the other hand, is getting away with a lot, as is Josh. So that's 3 players down for KRITZBERG on this 4th mid. Grabba's going to have to try and run away with his scouts, as he's probably going to get chased down by some angry Swift players trying to shut off their way. Grabba, nice surf by him to actually get into the shutter here. Both his scouts obviously still alive, trying to hold back the enemy players, so they're gonna keep their medic alive, but they're gonna lose a lot of position forward, and Josh is already so far forward that he's gonna be able to make sure that nobody really crosses across that point for the time being. Mid hasn't even been capped yet.
Yeah, and this is where things get pretty grim for the Poles here right now. They've been winning quite a few of these mid-fights right now, but suddenly starting to catch on to things here. Navi struggling to get up drop down. Doesn't matter. Doesn't need to be there. Can just jump straight into people here. And they overextend on flank a bit. Doesn't even commit for the kills. Just gets some damage towards them. And sees himself out of here. Just connects back with the combo. And that's another try. Beat him. Thing that works.
Navi! My lord. Just what a bomb. Gets both Grabba and what was it, Beavern there? Just turning on the car, no paparazzi.
It's 2 for 1, worth it 100%
yeah,
of the
that's
time
worth
either way.
it either. And it's a drop in there as well, so that's gonna be, it's good. This is basically a round for Swift. I think it's easy to call it at this point, unless they pull off a miraculous defense here where people literally not even leaving the spawn until the round gets capped out. That's gonna be the 4th one for Swift. My lord.
Yeah, I mean, how long was the first round again? It was like basically half the game, basically, at the beginning, and then just like a few minutes later, we are here, Swift on match point already. KRITZBERG slowly but surely just being outdone on most steps of the game here, where they were able to keep up pace quite nicely at the beginning. They need a miracle now to keep this dream alive of any points out of this game.
We have seen it before, but it has been like 10 years since then, so God knows if it's still possible nowadays. We're gonna have to see how they approach this mid-fight. They're gonna lose Stan early this time around, so it's not looking too good for them, but Josh and Gazi do get picked up as a response. Wonju also going down, so it's still pretty even for the time being, but Nazboy is gonna be able to lay down so much damage across these containers. Bonkers is gonna go down for his trouble trade with Nubby, so still there in this fight. KRITZBERG really don't want to give it up. They have 2 scouts, so they theoretically have a little bit of a DM advantage here against Kunu alone with Nazboy. But they're just not really hitting the shots that they need to, and Seeds is just doing a way better job at tanking his players to cap out the point, so for the time being, at least they have that advantage.
Ooh, there we go. Focus Fire comes in before the Uvers. That guns down at least Kuno. They just B1 for, though, even exchange there on the Uvers and the players right now, but there's just less up for KRITZBERG right now.
Yeah, and that's gonna be pretty problematic for them.
That? What a legend.
I can't believe that he does. Stan does go down for his trouble, and it looks like the rest of them are going to have to run away. They're not going to be able to stand to that. I would have been highly surprised. Wonju actually taking a lot of damage here, trying to hold off Nazboy as well. They do hang on. They're going to make their way forward into Garage here a little bit. Grabba is still very dangerously low, so this could be a very dangerous commit as well. Wonju's going to try to bomb the combo. Doesn't accomplish much, so it gets taken out first from Paparazzi, also taken down. So Grabba left alone, Beaver down. 3 players gone for KRITZBERG. I feel we might be seeing Swift just very quickly taking Swift advantage of this and pushing this to last, as they already have an Uber now as well. They're probably going to be able to take the 2nd point for pretty much free. Stan does have a little quickie bomb launcher, I've just realized, but beyond that, I have a feeling that that's not going to accomplish much. He's just trying to whip out some wacky gimmick at this point.
Well, whatever works maybe, but so far it hasn't really done them any favors just now. We'll see if it changes anything about this one right now, but for now, no 6 on point doesn't exactly help as the push comes in already. Not using just yet, George gets dropped in. The snipe by Beaver actually takes down Nazboy too. They're not giving up on this one yet, and that is a refreshing thing to see after last week as well. They might be down for the count quite a bit here this map, but they want to at least fight to the end.
Yeah, they definitely gonna try to make as much of it as they can. Also pick up Gazi, who was trying to hide out. Seed still didn't have to use throughout all of that, by the way. I feel like they were trying to get in deep without using, but lost too many players early, so they just opted to back up and try again. Now, obviously, they're going to be trying to hold mid here as best as they can. And Stan is already in. Navi's going to try to bomb some players here as well. Not going to meet much. Bonkers is actually going to get the force out of Seeds. So that's going to be an exchange going on. Let's see which team gets out on top here at the tail end of it. It looks to be Swift, but they do have Beaver in behind. And he did just kill Nubby, so they are aware of him.
We'll see how much attention they want to pay to that. So far, right now, Stan tries to open things up, but is too far in already, and this is just opening up things for the other side now. Swift trying to chase through onto anyone they can in the garage area. Everyone's so weak. Vonshun will not escape alive. B1 still causing mayhem in the backlines, taking down one by one. Seeds going down to him too before finally get to that. They didn't want to care about him in the backlines and just push forward, but they didn't do it fast enough.
Yeah, they were really, I think they were really underestimating him there probably, actually. They were like, oh, it's just a single dude. We don't know, we're gonna have to worry about him all that much, and, well, bada bing, bada boom. What do you know? You killed 3 of your people. Well, yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one. I don't think KRITZBERG have an easy mathematical possibility to come back 4 rounds. So, I think this game is basically already sealed. But if they want, they can put a couple of rounds on the board and maybe, you know, get a little bit of morale going again.
Yeah. Ooh, a pause as well. Interesting time for one. But yeah, like you said, I mean, this might not be much for this game anymore. It's theoretically still kind of could be. You have to be on like insane, like a minute 10 pace, I think, per round at this point. Theoretically, it's like kind of possible. Realistically, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends with whatever scoreline it might be, but a winning one for Swift. The point is, like you said, staying in this mentally is important. You don't want to call things out too early. We've seen how KRITZBERG just lost control of that last time they played against the Stand. Started a lot worse for what it's worth. Obviously, Swift, the slow starting team, they tend to be here for by the looks of it this season. Certainly gives other people some hope early, if it's anything like this, I guess.
Maybe it's like a part of psychological warfare, right? You give them some hope, and then you utterly crush it and destroy it in the following 3 rounds when you just roll them. Maybe that's like part of, you know, just psychologically dominating your enemy, trying to make sure that they are scarred for life coming out of this battle. Who knows?
Maybe that's the Josh factor that they're bringing back here. Maybe that's what they needed all along. For what it's worth, yeah. They're looking a little bit more back into shape here. Need to play 5 more minutes of this map here. Quick pause. With how quickly this reconnect was, if it was a disconnect. I don't think it was Josh crashing, because that took quite a while last time.
Let's see how KRITZBERG try to approach this. All things given, they can at least still take a couple of rounds, and if they somehow pull off miraculous acts, they could very well see themselves actually win the map. They take it to a golden cap and whatnot. That being said, they're gonna take mid for the time being and force back some of these Swift players, but with both medics finding themselves on Uber charges, obviously, this is gonna be looking a little bit interesting. Grabba opting to use very early to get his player through, and they're actually gonna drop seeds! Very much underestimating the power of the Quickie Bomb launcher there, so Stan is gonna pick up that kill for himself. I don't think he wanted to see that one out of seeds, but it's gonna be looking pretty good for KRITZBERG right now. They're gonna pick up Kunu as well. Stan is gonna get juggled a little bit, but does live, and ultimately, yeah, they're gonna just edge their way out into these fights. They're gonna pick up Josh, Nasboy, Nubby. They're just gonna get one player after another. Nobody's gonna really be able to oppose them. They might actually be able to convert around here if they play their cards right on this last. It's only Gazi on the heavy, so they might very well convert that round, and we're gonna see KRITZBERG put at least 1 on the board.
Yeah, at the very least, I mean, still possible, but they need some mad ones here. They really need these mid-wins like in their favor much more than before. It was Stand one disconnecting. That does not help your chances much, I suppose, at the beginning of the rollout. To be done at that moment, this is where the pause happened in the game as well. So they will be not the greatest position to actually start off the round with a lot of momentum here.
Gonna have to see how that affects them. I definitely agree that that's probably gonna put a little bit of a wrench into your plans, but because Granary is such a slow map, even if you show up late to mid, you can still try to convert stuff anyway. Both sort of going deep immediately, but not meeting anything. Paparazzi also going down. Only Josh dying on the side of Swift, so it's looking like a dominant mid already. Stan also taken down. Grabba is left alone, and he's gonna just give his life to the gods of Gazi's bat.
And if there was any chances left on the comeback, Swift is quickly thwarting them with just a demanding mid-win here, maybe straight into last as well. They've been stopped from match point before, maybe they can get back into it for a second chance. Hinabi will not get the spawn melee attack, maybe another one on the NG will not quite connect either. Launch's rocket will find its victim first, but they're still going down quite a few people. Bonkers in the backlines tries to save what they can here with the backup block. That actually will go through, has to deal with a little bit more there as the fighting keeps going on last, but it's not exactly going great for KRITZBERG on either of those fronts just now.
Yeah, Bonkers is the only player left alive, so while he did prevent that cap on second, now he's gonna have to meet the combo here, and that's gonna be a fight that's probably not very much in his favor, as Kunu does take him down, so the second is finally capped out. couldn't wait for enough cap time to decay there, but he did buy his team a little bit of time so they can hold on to last for the time being. Grabba actually went scout there for a moment. I just noticed that. I don't know what was going on with that.
The Grabber would be the first medic in Premiership to emergency go to a damage class if he has to save a last point. That is a very Grabber thing to do, I think. So that's not surprising in my eyes anyway.
Yeah.
But switches back to medic very quickly here because the push is coming in for Swift with the Uber Meme Spoon coming out for Nabi as well. Takes down Stan, takes down B1 Hebo Fair for Kuno as well, and that should just be clean up all the way around. Killed by his former teammate from a few seasons ago, and that will wrap up the 5-1 now for Swift.
And probably also the map, as we're left with a minute 45 into our last mid-fight of the day. Well, I say last. It's theoretically possible that this is the second last, but let's be honest. This is a one map for Swift either way. We're just going to see players do wacky hijinks like Gazi running Pyro to mid. And I'm actually going to be on the Gazi cam. I want to see what he pulls off in mid here. I want to see what this man does on a mid-fight on Granary with the jetpack. All right. I like his thinking.
The scouts don't. They just say no to him early on. Maybe gets a second chance straight on the medic.
What a maneuver. I cannot believe. That is probably the most skillful jetpack jump I've ever seen in my life. I didn't even know you could do that. That honestly surprised me.
Well, the one person to know that would be... Well, there's two people, I think, that would notice things. One of which is obviously Highlander Pyro, and the other one is just Gazi, who doesn't play much Highlander Pyro, but, you know, he is playing Pyro anyway.
Unbelievable. What a play. That one was exclusively... That one is exclusively for, like, the frag video, right?
Although the Huntsman Sniper coming out as well, they want to just get all the morale out of quickly for the end of the game and get things going quickly for next map. I was about to say maybe KRITZBERG can like start fresh from the next map and start slow with Swift once again, and if they get around early, that might put a wrench in Swift's plans like the Basku game did as well. But with Swift just firing on all cylinders right now, I don't think we'll see much of that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be nail in the coffin here for KRITZBERG. They're going to have to try to get their mentality on for Metalworks, a different map. It's going to play a little bit differently as well. As Swift just, as I said, they try to go for the psychological warfare of just throwing as much stupid shit at you as humanly possible at the end of the game.
That is perfectly fine, I guess. As they will round out the game 5-1. Couldn't quite make it a clean 5-0 here in the end. KRITZBERG still fighting back to the bitter end, more or less here anyway. Giving it very much an honest shot, though, for what it's worth. But Swift, once again, showing that even if they start slow, they know how to make things work later down the road. They take the sweet time, but they know what for, and make the time they take count.
Absolutely, and that's where we look at numbers that also confirm what we just saw. So we can actually put the things, the observations we make, we can actually put them into mathematically proven methods. As like,
for example,
who has the biggest...
Boyce's circle aim is certainly proven to be the biggest damage strat of all time.
Yeah, I was going to say, as to who has the biggest PP, because they did the most damage. In this case, it is Nazboy. Other interesting stats on this are that Swift had about 30% more kills in general, so that's always a nice one.
I
5 more
want to have
reverse,
like a time comparison to that, because you like watch like the first half of the game and it's like pretty much even, and then you watch the second half of the game and that's where the whole difference came to be probably.
It is an interesting thing that never shows on the stream side, but like, you know, logs show how long each round is. It really does say a lot how the first round was 12 minutes, and then there was not a round longer than 3 minutes until like the one that KRITZBERG won.
Despite mid-wins for KRITZBERG too, which is the crazy part about it. Like, Swift just like took the sweet time early on and then just figured, yeah, this is how we do things now. And after that, they won even the mid-fights, and then just all hope lost at that point. Close first few minutes, but KRITZBERG just couldn't keep it going, where Swift just kept going at it. And that's just the quality of a roster like Swift, right? It looks so even at the beginning, but they just unlock things later down the road to make things work brilliantly for them.
Yeah, other interesting stats to look at. Kuno putting down a monstrous KD. It's something you love to see as a scout player is a 4.1 KD. I think that's going to be a nice one.
Do we really want these guys to have better beam performance again? Is this something we want as a society? Your opinion counts, I guess, as a viewer coming forward when we decide again if we get rid of it again or keep the change. Because this is scary stuff here. If you're as good
Single
as Kudo.
digits death, single digit deaths is quite surprising to me. Yeah, even post beam nerf, or much rather post beam nerf. Other than that, I mean, what else to look at? Obviously, it shows that it was a much more dominant game for Swift, especially in the latter half. Seeds obviously performing a lot more, adequately. Given that as well, 5 extra Ubers, one of which was a crit at the very end of the game. So, yeah, both medics dropping once though.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it happens, I guess. Much more devastating, I think, than the drops, even, which are still unfortunate, of course. I think was Grabber's one death at 95 at the very end, where they just made dead sure on Swift to not let him get that Uber as they pushed into last at 95 and just barely killed him in time, which was brilliant stuff to get that going quickly enough here. Close windows of opportunity like that. Need quick work, and Swift knew in time to make it happen like that, exactly. So good stuff from them. Let's see how this goes. There's only 2 ways I can expect this to go, right? Either we see a complete mirror of last map once again. So with Swift starting slow, it's a new map. Figure them out once again and try to get the download ready on bad connection, I guess, and just eventually it's there. Or they just keep going where they left off, and this is just going to be a roll from the get-go here.
Yeah.
It's on KRITZBERG to hope it's the slow starting Swift, because then they have a chance to maybe put something on the board here and try to keep that lead going. They got close last map for the Swift. It's not. You look at the score, and it looks very dominant, and it was at the end, but it wasn't for the longest time. If KRITZBERG gets the ball rolling quicker than Swift does, that could be very bad news. It was good enough for Basket to get something on the board. It might be good enough for them as well here.
It definitely is a strategy, and it's pretty much their only hope of collecting any form of points tonight against Swift at all, right? Even if they take this to a golden cap and get that 1 extra point, it's something. It's something to put on the board. It's something to help you out in your battle for the playoffs, and especially against Busker, a team that might be better, but on a good day or a bad day, you might still be able to put up a decent fight against them in the last week. That's going to be very interesting for them. I think that's what it really boils down to. KRITZBERG now is they're going to have to try to just somehow stop. If there is momentum at the start for Swift, immediately they have to somehow try to put a stop to it, control the pace of the game to their own liking, and then make as best use of it as they can. That being said, Metalworks is a map that does play a lot faster than Granary.
Metalworks is a map, that's true.
It is
I
also
forgot
a
about
map.
that last week, to be fair.
But it is a map that plays faster than Granary, definitely, so...
A lot of the time, yeah. Especially towards mid. It's like so much easier to make a play into mid, I think, with advantage. Where on Granary, you just have to so carefully peek into Grand mid, make sure nothing's going wrong. Where on this map, you just... If you have advantage, you can see usually where everyone is. You just have your place on the flank to make sure that you don't get flanked as well. And have, at least comparatively to some other maps, a lot easier time to just try to get things going quickly. I mean, flashbacks to all the times Lucas, for his various rosters over the past few seasons, just goes in guns blazing with the Ubers, goes deep, and the rest of the team tries to follow up with the damage he presents them with towards the team holding just a bit too far aggressively on mid as well. Makes everyone want to be a little bit more careful here, which in turn makes it easier to get it for free as well. We'll see how these 2 teams take it. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts slow once again here, but it's entirely on these teams right now to decide how this game goes right now. Certainly, if KRITZBERG still has hope left, which I hope they will, they can make a great game out of this one. If it's good enough, it's entirely in them right now.
Yeah, that is the ball is in their court, basically. They're going to have to try to make the plays and make sure that things go their way. And another interesting thing I always see with this map is, I think from, at least from my observations and from the bit I've played on the map, because obviously, I don't play as actively anymore, but I remember the last on this map being a little bit more difficult to push than your average map. At least from what I remember, because there's a lot of it's an interesting one, because I think there's a lot of shutters that you have to go through, right? A lot of like tight doorways, and if the defenders hold them very well, it can be tough to get into last. At least from what I remember.
Yeah, if you don't have like clear-cut case of just a standard advantage push where stuff is just still a little bit messy, it can certainly be tough to get through lobby even a lot of the times. I think once you have the standard case of like prepared last push, I think it's fairly fine for the most part. You have a very process-esque scenario of the team holding back with the gun, having possibility to hide behind the point in a somewhat comparable fashion there, I suppose, as well. And just try to dodge as well, where you just take space, take a side, try to get them stuck in a corner while you're playing the point, and they have to forcibly get back towards the camp to block it in time as well. So I think once you have things going in your way to start things off with, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair way of looking at it. Let's see how much of the bull crap we just spewed is actually gonna come into fruition as we're headed into our first round of Metalworks for the night here. It's do or die, basically, for KRITZBERG at this point if they want to stay in the season. And they're going to be the ones trying to make stuff happen here. Onto our first mid. Stan is going to be a little tiny bit faster than Nazboy, but ultimately it's not going to amount to much. He's going to get bombed by Navi immediately and taken down, but Bonkers is going to respond with one onto Nazboy as well, so it's essentially a trade. But ultimately, Bonkers does lose his life, and so does Wanju, so no soldiers for the side of KRITZBERG here either, and it's looking a lot better for SVIFT off the back of that. Navi goes in so high and so deep, trying to land something with his bomb, ultimately just sinks off his own rocket and gets back out again. Can't really fight both of these scouts, so he's going to be getting out of there, but KRITZBERG are still staying in this. They do have enough aggression here, they do manage to pick up Navi. And with Josh and Gazi out of the fight until now, Nazboy also just now arriving, they still have a chance to actually contest mid here decently well, as their respawners try to revive, or, you know, arrive much rather. Yeah, they're gonna be able to get out now though. They're gonna set up on second.
Ooh, maybe not though, they're going drop down here, trying to make some small rotation. No, they're just taking the fancy way out through lobby, it seems, through the lower area. Very surprising, Navi with the very deliberate attempt to sink himself, not the medic. Wants to live more than he wants to kill. The medic there is a rare sight to see, especially for roaming soldiers. It didn't work quite as well as I intended, I suppose, even though he did get out initially. Either way though, we're back in the stalemate, and you know what that means. Which is exactly SVIFT trying to take matters into their own hands again. They don't want to sit here for too long in the early stages, maybe. Try to get things going. Can't quite get the jumps they're looking for just yet through alley yet. The attempt was made, Navi has to circle back around though.
We're just gonna see them like be a little bit more careful here. They do take some ground out of alley just a little bit to try and make space for Navi as well, who has to run away again, and Nazboy is actually gonna get caught out, so that's gonna allow, I don't know, KRITZBERG to get a little bit of ground here, do a little bit of a play as well, potentially. Take this forward a little bit. Bonkers is going to fight Josh with Beavern, and they're going to take him down, so that's going to be a nice little opening as well. And a lot of players go dangerously low on Swift. They're actually going to trade the Uber. Actually, not even trade. They're going to force it out of seeds. Grabba finally using his own, not even dropping anybody that was near him. Both soldiers were already down elsewhere trying to bomb, so I don't know if this is looking very good for them, all things considered, considering the player advantage that Swift has here, pressuring them back, and it's still not working out in their favor. Navi and Seeds both go down. Paparazzi might does get taken down here, but ultimately, KRITZBERG, while, you know, losing the point, still keep their medic, so...
What a monster, he just baits the rocket towards the exit, actually just goes straight back into the midpoint instead of leaving, and the rocket completely misses him, strafes back into the solar space and trades with Josh on his rocket, despite the lessened self-damage rockets have this season. That actually was insane bit of movement there by Bevan to get a trade out of this one, and that matters. Not going down numbers here is huge for them. Gets back into the point here. Navi snipes right away, gets Bonkers down. That hurts quite a bit. Is that enough for Swift to try to recontest? It might be, with Navi continuing to hit these shots.
Is he? Oh my lord! Okay, he's gonna hit that one as well. He's gonna hit. Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, Navi's activated. I think he drank his Mountain Dew earlier, but Paparazzi still takes down Seeds anyway, so it's almost all for nothing. He did get a couple of cool shots, but at the end of the day, they still lost medics, so it's all in what he can continue to pull off here as they're now away. Oh my lord. They're just gonna let him get away with it, aren't they?
I mean, if you're just not quick enough to escape a sniper sideline, then he's quick enough to hit all these shots, and that's how it's gonna end most of the time. Navi firing on all cylinders, Swift firing on all cylinders here. Take, again, a few minutes to get started on the map, but already looking a lot more scary than he did in the first few minutes of Granary. Comparatively, and that is not great news for the Poles just yet. It was close enough already so far, but if Swift can keep up this performance here, this is gonna escalate very quickly here. And for now, it's already on par for that right now, with Uber advantage towards last any second. They're ready to go here. They have a gun. They have a sniper up as well, spy up as well themselves on the off classes here. Paparazzi waiting behind them, trying to catch whatever they can.
He's walking around invisible for a very long time, but
Navi.
Yeah, that's not gonna work out. And meanwhile, Navi's just hitting more shots, so Paparazzi's been caught out. He's gonna be taken care of. And Navi is just putting a lot of pressure onto last year as a sniper, which is something you don't see very often. Grabba does get very, very close to his own Uber, so if they can hold off this cap for long enough, which they definitely won't because one just gets shoved off of it, that's gonna be the first round for Swift. Never mind.
It's this awkward, like, forced to make a mistake situation, though. They already have the whole sideline with the sniper initially, and Swift has even just the tiniest advantage if you just dare peek against this early, you might just lose anyone, including your medic, before they have. And I mean, it's a matter of do you want to live and get the Eva or die and block? And either way, it's a bad situation. Entirely out of the fear that Navi has brought onto him now.
Yeah, I mean, my man was absolutely popping off that round, so he really threw a little bit of a wrench into the plans of KRITZBERG there. That being said, in our second mid-fight, Josh is going to be the first player to get taken down, but Stan is feeling so much pressure, he's basically not in the fight at all, and his team is going to feel the burn for that. Wanju, Beavern, and Paparazzi all taken down simultaneously. Stan's going to have to try to run away, he just gets caught out as well. It's only Bonkers and Grava, and they're going to barely escape. With only, well, 2 scouts chasing them, actually. I say only, but Grava is actually in quite a bit of danger right now. Oh my god! Yeah, a bit of danger, yeah, you can say that. He's dead.
Yeah, well, that is unfortunate, I suppose. But that's exactly what I meant, right? Swift didn't even start that much slow this time around, but they're immediately back into the swing of things here, and it's just a matter of enabling themselves to get away with more and more and more. And suddenly we're back to last in a matter of a few minutes here. For Swift once again, with advantage once more. Paparazzi building the gun that KRITZBERG so desperately needs to hold onto this round here. If the Poles have any hopes left, this last point needs to stay blue.
Absolutely. That being said, it's going to be a little tough. Nazboy bombing in deep. The sentry, though, not just taken down yet, and Nazboy's actually going to get cleaned up, so only picking up Bunkers so far for the side of Swift here. It's not looking that great for them. They lose Gazi as well. Finally take on Wanju, but it's only Nabi, Kunu, and Seeds, and obviously they're running away. And so, yeah, KRITZBERG managed to hold that decently well, and Grava's coming up on his own Uber soon enough. Seeing how they can take this into second as well. Seeds is disconnected from the players he's trying to heal. Only Nazboy right now
once
who's met up
again
with
just
him.
high bombs through.
Oh,
Shutter
man.
gets onto Grabber, gets the kill on the medic there. That is so crucial for KRITZBERG to have any chance out of last right now, and that chance is just out the window right now. Everyone's trying to chase back in here, try to clean up the combo. Everyone's kind of weak. Swift not in the best position, have to roll in from low ground, but Josh will save his scout there in time, and that might make all the difference in the world, because Dad is having a free shot at last, I think, at this point.
Yeah, it's just Paparazzi up. Grabba just now spawning as well. They're not going to be able to hold this off, and that is a second round for Swift. I believe the prophecy, well, it's not really a prophecy, you could say, you know, it's just coming true. The standard universal truth is coming true, where Swift are definitely making use of all this momentum, just rolling it forward. And KRITZBERG are just absolutely overwhelmed by what's being thrown at them right now.
Yeah, I think to put it in the simplest terms, Swift is arriving to the point in the game where they're starting to just better team them, better player them maybe, which is never a place where you want to be, especially if it starts so close as well, right? KRITZBERG, even this map started fairly well for them for a little while there, but Swift is just able to play whichever way they want to, slowly but surely. Maybe the mid-fight can bring some change here, but Stan is incredibly weak already, gets caught by the rocket by Navi, just waiting for the damage in the backlines to clean up on, and just gets a shot at the medic maybe for free as well. Doesn't actually commit all the way in though. Nabi is like super concerned this map about surviving stuff. Maybe he wants a better KD for the logs, but certainly won't have it yet. At the very least, so everyone has map control on the point, and that is not allowing KRITZBERG to take any space whatsoever.
Yeah, they're just going to push them back out through Val here. Josh is actually on the chase as well, seeing what much he can pull off. He's going to just send his players in, his boys in. They're just going to keep rolling them, going through Alley now. Taking that second point already. They're just on it already. So the Uber is going to come out of Grabber here. He does have his own Uber. He did survive that mid-fight, so they're going to use it. But Seeds is in basically no danger right now. It's only Paparazzi. He's not going to hit enough shots to really danger him for a long time. But never mind, there's a double bomb from both soldiers to take down all the un-Ubered players. So Seeds is still going to drop 3 people during an Uber. You love to see it if you're a KRITZBERG fan.
Oh, Bonkers gets them stuck as well on the way out through Alley. Just waits for them on the other side of that area and just cuts off the exit perfectly here. This is exactly what they need. They played so scared ever since the sniper came out, it feels like. And they just can't afford to. They can't let Swift play their game here. They need to start doing their own thing. And this is a way to start things off with. Just take the initiative, take an Uber in, and be ready to take the consequences, good or bad, out of this one. And certainly good for now, all the way to second as well here. KRITZBERG still in this, and Kunu sniping from forwards, and the heavy in there as well, and it actually takes down 2 for no lives lost whatsoever. Gazi barely staying alive here, and the backup comes in. Bonkers wraps around them through lobby though. They were so quick in there, they didn't check for anything at all. And that might turn bad pretty quickly. They're at least cleaning up this, the Polish players trying to get on the medic here. Too late, so that's good news, I suppose. Grabber has not much to survive with right now, but is far back already.
Yeah, and he's going to meet up with a Paparazzi, so he's going to continue building his Uber as well as Seeds is, you know, he died during that, so He's gonna not be up on anything himself, and I have a feeling that Swift are pretty heavily memeing, considering that they have no single scout on their team now. Kunu is still on a sniper. Gazi is still committed to the heavy, and we also have Navi still on a spy class as well. Maybe even gonna go for a cheeky little backstab here. If Gazi doesn't mow people down first, nope, he's gonna get Wanju. And no, they are aware, okay. Your eternal reward can't fool Prem players.
I mean,
but
that only needs to fool them for a second where they can't hear that someone's screaming that the spy killed them. That's all good enough, right?
yeah.
That's all it has supposed to do.
The Uber did get forced throughout all of that, obviously, because Graba did walk right in front of a heavy, so... yeah, that's pretty understandable. But they're gonna make use of it. I mean, only Nasboy left alive there for the longest time. He's still, like, only barely alive, really. And he does barely escape, so... He's gonna stay alive, but Swift are gonna find themselves on loss, so maybe they were memeing a little bit too much. This is
like
what happens when they...
KRITZBERG is taking advantage of this, and they don't have a reason not to. They just will have to keep things going here. It is only 2-round lead. That doesn't sound great, but it's doable enough right now with 20 minutes left that there's no point for them to give up on this, even if Swift takes this a little bit too lightly right now. If they can't get back into the swing of things quickly, which can easily happen, where you just don't get back into tryhard mode quickly enough with everybody combined, it can turn badly pretty quickly. So we'll see if KRITZBERG can take advantage of this all the way into last. Seeds does not have yet.
They do use an early Uber in, but they don't really find much. They do find Seeds, so they're going to ensure that he doesn't get anywhere near, even if they botched his last push, which is certainly not looking good for them right now. Only Bonkers and Wanzu is the only damage dealers alive, and both of them very low, so that's one of them down. Only Wanzu left in, and he's certainly just running for his life. He's going to get taken down as well. So I feel like that was a very weird last push. They all committed for Seeds, and he's the only player they caught out, but ultimately it's given them, like, what, a 5% advantage?
I mean, they kind of had to, though. They very much couldn't let Seeds live any longer there. You got to see, but it's just, it took too long, really. The heavy didn't go down at all. The demo man was freely in spawn, spamming them down as well, while no Kaplan was gotten as well. So this just doesn't work all too great together here. Attempt for Swift to try to fight back to second against the spawns is already on the way here, and certainly with these kills early, it's looking very good for the red team right now to just clean up this point quickly. Vonshu caught under the point as well. Will wrap things up, most certainly. Stan trying to jump out, but probably, no, actually gets healed just in time. I don't know if he landed on Packer, but it was a clutch arrow by Grabber. Either way, though, lives there, and that is huge for them in some ways at least. Gives them some chance here, but they have to make up for the Grabber death.
Absolutely, and that's going to put them in a very tough spot, because Seeds is close himself, and they're in absolutely no position to commit to him right now, because they're trying to defend second, and they're probably expecting just like a very fast Swift push here, which, you know, they seem to have slowed down a little bit again, play a little bit more methodical again. So we're gonna see how they try to approach this push into secondary. Paparazzi is on the sniper, so he might do something cheeky. Nubby is already in behind, and the Uber does come in. Gazi takes down Beaver early. Paparazzi's gonna have to back off as well. Bonkers, Wanju both taken down, so the sniper is both also out of the equation. That's gonna be an easy second that they're gonna have to give up there. They do pick up Nubby, and that's about it, with the rest of Swift chasing in, overwhelming these KRITZBERG players as much as they can already. Stan is down, no demo there. Nazboy gets taken down as well, but there's just so much meat from the side of Swift that they're just gonna jump on the point and win it.
Yeah, Swift took it lightly for a second there. It didn't escalate into a round loss, and that is great news for them if they want to wrap things up quickly. Certainly 16 minutes left. There's plenty of time left to be played for KRITZBERG to get more opportunities like this maybe in the future again, but if Swift keeps doing what they've been doing here right now, this last minute or so, this might just end a lot quicker than the Polish team might like.
We're gonna have to see how it goes on this mid. I think this is the one really where it's a chance for KRITZBERG to turn it around heavily. They've already won the last one, but they really have to try to make most of it, and losing Paparazzi early is certainly not going to help. Let's see how the rest of it goes. Josh obviously going in deep behind for the bomb, but not accomplishing much. Bonkers is going to trade for Kunu. And then Gazi gets taken down as well, so no scouts here for the side of Swift. Nubby taken down as well. It's actually turning in the favor of KRITZBERG pretty quickly, but Graba is dangerously low, so any stray rocket from Josh or stray stick from Nazboy could have done some damage there. Turns out they're gonna not be able to commit to that though, so he's gonna stay alive, and it's gonna be a 1 mid for KRITZBERG, but not very convincingly.
Yeah, Seed staying alive is a huge detriment to the Polish side here right now. Even trying to chase down the medic late, but Wonshu gets caught on stickies, will fall to his death eventually here, so no immediate action in the stalemate to help him out quite yet either. It's a good sign at least. This might be a 3-0 already, but KRITZBERG is still giving it a shot here to try to make stuff happen from this midpoint forward. with what they have given right now. It's not much just yet, but drop overextending might be a start here. That's a nice little pick to have.
That's definitely it. That is a good opening frag to have here. Navi also going dangerously low in the meantime, so they could have almost had 2. And we're gonna see KRITZBERG take it through the alley. Navi's gonna bomb high, and he's gonna get onto Grabba, force him out. Nice surf out as well, perfectly nailing that little threading the needle. And he's immediately back in as well, gets onto the combo yet again, but he can't really commit much here, can he? So ultimately, it's only gonna be Paparazzi going down in that Uber exchange. Now they're pincered in Valley here. And Kunu is gonna clean that damage up lovingly. Yeah, okay.
Gazi died so quickly too, they like caught wind of him immediately, but it was still long enough of a time for everyone to not pay attention to anything else. That it just still escalated anyway. Swift was in instantly off the distraction, killed everything in front of them. Broncos Paparazzi, the only 2 players up right now. One of them on Spy, waiting his time for an opportunity to make something happen here. Seeds will hear that though, gets the arrow out in time and has his team do the rest of the work.
Yep, and Paparazzi is having yet another botched spy play to add to the curriculum. That being said, it is obviously a valid attempt, and we're gonna have to see KRITZBERG try to hold this last point. They're definitely not in an impossible position here, depending on how fast Swift move. Obviously, they're gonna go really friggin' fast, so they're already in on the point with the Uber as well, but they have only met 2 players thus far. One of them being Grabba, though, means no heals for KRITZBERG, so if they want to hang on to this point, it's all about what happens on second right now. And for the time being, you have 1 player trying to deny that in Beavern, who has now died. So I believe this is going to be an easy round for Swift to convert here, as nobody's alive to contest them. That's 4-0.
Yeah, much like on Granary, the attempt on the block on the second cap is always a pretty decent one if you can get that in time, and it certainly had people in position for just that, but it needed to take so much longer on second than it could in the end for these spawns to be of value, and they, as good as they fought there, as much as they actually did take people down and wasted a lot of time, it just wasn't still enough in the end, despite their best efforts, which is really unfortunate to see for KRITZBERG. And despite their best efforts, this is now match point for Swift once again.
And I have a feeling that Swift might not be taking this very seriously because Gazi's on Pyro again.
I mean, we've seen what the man can do.
Down, though. Yeah, he's not using the jetpack this time around, though, so true. I feel like he's gonna try to be a little bit more conservative. He's gonna rocket reflect jump, get air shot, and then almost get air shot again. Only saves himself with a reflect. I don't know what I just witnessed, but it was beautiful. But that being said, KRITZBERG are gonna win the mid off the back of that, because they essentially fought against 5 people, to be honest.
The trick is to hope that somebody's dumb enough to counter jump you on Soldier.
Yeah.
Maybe no one's taking that bait. KRITZBERG certainly adjusted to that well enough here, and I mean, if Swift's taking it easy, they won't at all. They want to be having a respectful game here, and Swift is having none of that just now. Gazi's still on Pyro for that matter as the exchange runs out on second, but Kunu by himself seems to be just winning this just fine for now.
Yeah, he just completely takes that Uber by himself. Gazi's gonna take down Bonkers, showing us what the Pyro class can do with a right click. And Swift finding themselves in a much better position already. They're going to be taking this into mid. Josh in already trying to just pressure people out of Valley here with his team as well, backing him up now. Paparazzi's going to get meme spooned down. And that's going to be all they're going to find for the time being. Beavern is up on the sniper as well on second. And there's another meme spoon right there. Nubby is activated, all right.
I can't even get excited at them anymore because they just happen at this point.
You're just take them for granted.
He just instant kills people. Who needs like sniper or spy when you have the guy in the skybox? Josh is just gonna kill him all. Oh no! The devil was talking to and couldn't see it. That means he could maybe see it coming in time, but he couldn't stop it.
Speaking of sniper, Beavern did get a kill onto Seeds.
Oh no, is Grabba gonna burn? Is this really gonna happen?
Grabba might burn.
It is.
Oh my god.
Okay, Gas is on the normal flamethrower actually. If that was the degreaser for some reason to flare punch people, that would not work.
Yeah, that would have actually done way less burn damage, it is true.
I mean, what Nubby is just like, sinking on mid trying to find somebody to jump on, and it's not working.
Unfortunate, really.
This is just a jump server for Nubby now, and we're just living in it.
It's turned into something special, that's for sure. Stan gets taken down there as well. I feel like both teams have decided to have a little bit of fun now, given that KRITZBERG have probably accepted that they're not going to take home any points tonight. And Swift are just having fun with it. As they do lose Seeds there, but you know, Seeds is just adding to his deaths basically at this point. Yeah. Okay.
Once again, like we've seen last time in the GSN game, though, Beavern on Sniper, he had not yet played enough game, and he's still in the server to play this game as well. Nice air shot onto Navi there. Saves gone through some trouble as well here. Will barely survive with the help of his team to back him up there for some healing very quickly. So at the very least, we know one person that isn't done with this game, and that might be the only person on the server, and that is Beaver.
He's having a good time still. I mean, it's unconventional, but he's gonna have some fun times now, also facing off against Kunu. Gets a nice angle there onto Seeds, doesn't hit the shot, unfortunately.
And it's gonna be Grabber, though.
Nabi getting Grabber trading against him there. And Kunu definitely showing why he's a dangerous sniper too. Seeds is get taken down as well, though, so they're not gonna have much to work with. Bonkers gets taken down. It's only Paparazzi up, but at the end of the day, you know, how much can Josh and a sniper do against, well, nothing really.
There was a beautiful moment where Paparazzi and Kunu saw each other and neither wanted to take the fight.
It does seem like an awkward fight to take for sure. Paparazzi definitely respecting this man's sniping prowess.
Finds Josh for second though. This is a fight he wants to take in fact though, and Josh on Scout we've not seen really, but Paparazzi will admit defeat.
Just taunts and admits defeat, so interesting choice. Yeah, I think they're really just having fun with this now. I don't
Decisions have been made, yeah. Mistakes have been made.
They're taking that very seriously. Josh is still in. He's just gonna have some fun times. He's stopped playing the soldier. He's gonna just walk onto a roller and die. Gazzy still on the pyro, by the way. Still committed to this class, seeing what he can make with it. Soldier's obviously rightfully scared of him. He's just gonna... he doesn't get that reflect jump, unfortunately. I'm just watching the Gazzy cam. I want to see what's he gonna pull off next.
Gazzy and pyro, what's he gonna do?
Oh,
what's Nabi gonna do?
No, doesn't get the B-hop.
You can't even be safe with him if he lands in front of you. He's just gonna B-hop you as well.
They put the crits on Gazzy for a second. I was excited, but unfortunately it didn't amount to much. So ultimately, we're gonna have KRITZBERG winning another fight as their enemy team probably takes the game less seriously right now. And we're gonna see them take mid.
Maybe.
Go into second. Yeah, again, the round win can give a little bit of a morale boost. At the end of the day, you are fighting like one of the top 3 teams in EU right now, so Beavern very oblivious to the sniper next to him for the longest time there, but Kunu does not hit the shot either. And Beavern's just committed to the sniper. He's gonna roll this all the way into last. They're gonna leave him to cap as well. Gazzy still committed to that pyro. Gonna take the Uber here a little bit and hold them off for the longest time. Matter of fact, he's just now dies after the Uber is already faded. And now this is where KRITZBERG take a round. I was about to say now this is where Swift whips at their defense, but nobody could get to the point in time, so we're going to see a very similar scoreline to last game, with a very similar amount of time left on the board.
Alright, well, they haven't given up on the Josh Scout yet. So the Josh Scout Prem debut, that might not even be true, but for now it is maybe. Josh Prem Scout is not working just yet. Maybe he needs to work in the Scout class first things first here. KRITZBERG certainly still taking the series. If Swift is letting them get rounds here, then they will gladly take them. Absolutely.
I mean, Gazzy is still committed to the Pirates, so I don't think Swift are feeling any form of danger right now, and it's realistic for them to assume that as Gazzy counter jumps Wanzu with a reflected rocket, but Nazboy is actually going to be the first player to go down in this entire mid-fight. Beavern finally taken down as a response, but not much has happened really since then. Bonkers is in behind, but he can't really do much against the Pyro in the combo. He's going to get taken down. Nabi, meanwhile, getting taken down on his own, trying to accomplish something similar. And they're going to use crits? Yeah, they're going to use crits onto Kunu there, and now Gazzy, and accomplish absolutely nothing.
How are we going to use crits against a team called KRITZBERG? And expect it to work?
Blasphemy, honestly.
Oh, Gazzy's in! This man is an inspiration for pyro mains in pubs all over the world right now. Just making them hope, hey, you can do it, I can do it too. Problem is, this man's insane. And that is a tough feat to accomplish to get to that level.
I just saw Stan walk into a sticky trap and leave his medic alone, getting b-hopped at by an angry Navi. He doesn't die though, but he does still use his Uber to try to get his team in through lower here. Nazboy might get caught out here, finally taken down. But that's all they're going to find, and Josh is still in behind, takes down Beaver, who is still committed to the sniper as well, by the way. So it's a lot of off-classing happening by now. They're committed these rounds to just completely off-classing all the time. And it looks like Swift are going to hang on to the point for the time being, with a full Uber to boast as well. It looks like they will probably take this forward into mid, as there's still 2 players down on the side of KRITZBERG, and one of them alive is Sniper that's just now arriving to the battlefield. Isn't going to do much either.
Small aside, but I love how the only correct English in this chat has been spoken all game was by the Polish players. Either way, either way,
Interesting
it does the
side.
crits and it gets vulture caught immediately. That is a bit unfortunate, but it doesn't get much more than that at least. That's, I mean, something I suppose. Kuno overextended to Stan, and Stan has not stopped pressing W the entire time, all the way in here into the combo, and that will get Nasber caught on the rollers as well. That's maybe enough to chase down even further than that.
Well, in the meantime, we have Josh Sniper on mid. So we really are just watching a Highlander game by now. We're gonna see what he can accomplish here. Beaver's gonna take down Nubby. And we'd also have, obviously, got Paparazzi heavy. Seeds, meanwhile, trying to get his Uber back up, or his crits much rather.
You got enough how we're in the state of the game where somebody disconnecting isn't warranting a pause either.
Yeah, I don't think they care much anymore at all. I mean, Kuno even like left by himself, so God knows what that was about. Maybe just like
it might
resetting.
be the 300 ping he had there for a second.
Yeah, no, maybe eventually.
That might have to do with it.
They weren't even feeling any heat at all. Nubby's up on the spy again. Bonkers burns to death. I don't know what is happening. I mean, it's an absolute mess. Graba forces his Uber, well, you know, to make sure that they don't die to the crits, but they've already lost both soldiers. So, I'm only gonna be able to make so much use of it. I'm just gonna run at a heavy and immediately get punished for it. Josh is gonna win the sniper duel against Beavern. Okay.
Ooh,
a lot of things are
the
happening.
double 1v1 as well here.
Oh
with
no!
Stan. Crazy gets the headshot into SMG, and all that's left is the heavy here, who is just overwhelmed at this point. Doesn't matter what classes they're playing. If you're 3v1, you're gonna win that fight.
Absolutely. It's Bonkers tries to go for a little tree bomb there. Gazi has having none of it.
No, all of that.
Having none of it. He's just right-clicking everything. We have Nubby just revolvering people down. Josh is just an SMG main now. He's not even using his primary anymore. This is actually just a competitive matchmaking match. Like, if people still played that, this is what it would look like. I'm gonna use the crits onto Josh, SMG. Unfortunately, Seeds had to flash for a bit for some reason and then instantly dies. So they lose 4 players. And it's only Gazi and Kuno alive. Gazi now finding himself behind enemy lines, as he usually does, but this time on a different class. So he's gonna wreak havoc on Beavern as he spawns. He's out for Beavern. He's gonna go for the taunt kill. Almost got it too.
Oh, unfortunate. You know, we could have maybe watched closer games than this. However, I think we watched the funniest game tonight, and that's a victory in my book.
Exactly.
And unlike the Ascent game, they at least tried for the longest time here on KRITZBERG, right? Which is respectable compared to last time, I guess, where they just kind of knew, oh yeah, it's Ascent, we're not going to win. Which, realistic expectation, I suppose, but still, obviously, you know, a little more disrespectful to your opponents, I suppose, even if Ascent took it like in their own hands as well, much like Swift is right now. They're all taking it easy, no one's taking the 6-2 personal and attacked in steps here. So, yeah, I mean, KRITZBERG tried. It was close for quite a while, but once Swift got the download ready, that was the point of no return, once it was 2-0 on Granary.
And that's where, KRITZBERG really decided that they're probably going to take this, well, a little bit more for having fun. Wanzu is playing Engineer, and he's carrying around his level 2 Sentry. Fortunately, that play didn't quite work out, so we're going to see Swift actually try to push back out here again. I was thinking for a while there that KRITZBERG might even be able to convert a second round, and they're still on the back cap for the longest time there. Just now, taking down Beavern. He was trying to make that happen, but ultimately...
Ooh, grab on spy on the back cap, though.
He's still there, dude. Who needs a medic when you can just have spies 1v1ing themselves with the revolver? It looks like Gazi is gonna lose it. So Graba is on his way to the last cap with 7 HP on the spy class. Nobody there to contest it besides Kuno. Unfortunately, Kuno was ready for it, playing his true main class, the soldier.
If Graba capped that, he would have deserved Player of the Season.
Absolutely.
Oh, he might get medic of the season. Would he get medic or off class of the season for that?
Yeah, imagine the story you would have to tell that your medic off class to spy and managed to cap the enemy last. What a story that would be. If you can take it completely out of context, it certainly sounds wilder than it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, if you can all everything around the match here that's happening right now, this is the sickest play of all time. It's still really good, kind of. Certainly still doing stuff as well. Navi going down does not dare fight the medic much more, but doesn't need to either.
I mean,
and our stash people, once again, in chaos as they don't know what to do with this.
They're actually gonna get around here. I feel like KRITZBERG are actually gonna get around here, yeah? Oh no! Stan is gonna get shut down by Josh.
I can't believe Grabber isn't 2v1ing them.
Can't believe he wouldn't do that against the Pyro.
Oh no, he goes back in,
Unbelievable.
but he gets caught in spam. That is
And
unfortunate.
Beaver is in a very interesting position as well, standing next to the shutter door, trying to catch somebody out, maybe. Oh, he does get a little headshot onto Kunu there. I think everybody's like very confused right now as to what's happening, and it's gonna lead to KRITZBERG picking up his second round with 8 seconds left on the clock. Less than actually, it's 5, but you know.
It's a 2-4 on the scoreline. It's 5-0 in my heart.
KRITZBERG
yeah.
are definitely the champions of the people this night.
They gave it an honest shot for the longest time here. I'll give them credit for that. That was a lot more effort put into this match than against
These
the
logs
Sands.
are gonna be a mess, aren't they?
And Grabber's gonna be the highest fragging medic of all time at some point due to this. Granted, he probably would be anyway. That's just how he plays realistically, but like it's gonna be even more now. Just gonna be interesting to look at later down the road, I guess, when we have comparison week 7. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much to say here. It was a close beginning, but the moment Nabi realized, wait a second, I know how to play sniper, it was just over. It wasn't that he sniped the entire way of the map through, but it's just that set the tone at that point, to the point of no return. And somehow Josh, even despite the short scout life where he didn't do a ton, he still did enough to keep up his damage forward to the top damage, actually.
Yeah, that is quite surprising, especially, you know, Nazboy below 300 DPM. Oh, that's a little cringe, honestly. That's a little cringe. Oh, I don't know how to think about that one. That's he's a little washed up.
Maybe he's the next on the chopping block in Kunu's endless rage of cutting everybody, which is not quite what happened. But let's go with that.
Maybe it's just all the teammate, you know, the wacky pyro hijinks stealing all of his damage that he would be dealing otherwise. But yeah,
true.
you know, not much to say about the logs at large. It shows that SVIFT. I mean, the numbers are surprising, but it shows that SVIFT, you know, we're obviously the more dominant team at the end of the day.
Despite everything else. And I mean, hey, if you have a Gazi Pyro, then you might as well just do it, right? That is like unironically actually working for the most part. So why not, I suppose. But yeah, there's just so much to say here. I don't know if the other game is still going on our main channel. It might by all means still be. Let me double check really fast. It looks like not really. That's unfortunate. Otherwise we would have thrown you guys over there. But we can just call it a day here. This was this week's of coverage for ETF2L. Unless you have any last words for Surny.
I've got nothing else to add other than that was probably one of the most fun games I've watched in a long time. So yeah, thank you for the players who put on a nice show, and thank you everybody for watching tonight.